Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and greetings and salutations, and welcome to this edition of the Women of BSV. You've got myself, Diddy, and Ruth, and we are joined today by the beautiful Crescenda Babiera, who is from Monetix, and she is way over in the Philippines at the moment. So thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to our little show. And would you like to tell our audience who you are, what you do, and your little journey into Bitcoin and BSV?
Yeah. Thank you for that warm introduction, Didi. And thank you so much for having me in your show, Miss Ruth and Miss Didi. It's an honor to be here. My name is Crescenda Babiera. I am the Business Development Officer at Monetix. And well, ladies, I'm so excited for this. Like, women of BSV, right? So I was just thrilled. I am so thrilled that I'm finally here in your show. Let me share something about myself and what I do in Monetics. So
Mm,
basically,
mm,
um, I am assigned in the overall business development, including the social media management, um, the talking to our potential investors, to our clients, to all the personalities that in our space, both in financial industry and the technology. So I am so fascinated with the core value of monetics, which is money and ethics. So it is a good practice or good ethics of handling money. So what we do is we give financial assistance with our partner in Uganda, which is Capital Save, and also we are involved in um, building more employable skill building programs. So this includes technology, which we want to focus with the cutting edge technology of BSV blockchain. So anything that is any projects that's related or wanting to use the technology of BSV blockchain. So that is our main interest. So yeah, helping people, creating more job opportunities, helping people to develop technology with the foundation using BSB blockchain, and of course in um, financial sector, and also giving business advisory on how to do business correctly. So thank you. I'm really glad to be part of this business.
I was going to say, is it like a consultancy firm then? Are you on the ground sort of training people, giving seminars or something? Explain to me a little bit more about what a day-to-day business looks like for Monetix.
But basically, what we do is we encourage more investors to have investment in Africa through our investment partner in Uganda, which is Capital Save. So basically, what we do right now is to transfer the money from the Western or from the US and Europe, and encourage them to see the beauty of the investment in East Africa. So
mm.
particularly right now, our focus is Uganda through our partner Capital Safe. So that is one of the pillar, and the second one is we promote or we encourage or we build as well employable skill building programs. So it is focusing in technology, teaching more on technology, you know. So this partnership also build a good relationship to give people or our clients or the SMEs or the businesses in East Africa to have advisory or business advisories. So to make sure that they can do their business, they can develop their business well, you know.
Is
Giving,
is,
um,
is the so no, it's all right. I was just wondering because Uganda, we were talking earlier, is quite an abundant kind of country in
mm,
Africa. So
that's
the infrastructure of Uganda is fairly well made, and the internet access. I mean, is that, is it pretty good all the way through the country? Because that makes a massive difference as well, doesn't it, for being able to teach people and everything, and actually reach people. So what
yeah.
kind of entrepreneurs are you dealing with over there? What kind of businesses, and what are they interested in?
Okay. So, as I have mentioned, Uganda is a different country in East Africa. Recently, the OMFIF and Absa Bank have considered Uganda as the most developed financial sector in East Africa.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this means that more foreign direct investments is more interested in investing in Africa. I think the reason of these is the people are well educated. We have
Mm.
a good manpower.
Mm.
Workforce is great. Young population as well. So if we say young population, these are the populations that have younger 30s, people in younger 30s. So it means that the possibility to adapt new technology is greater than those countries that are, have old
A little bit more.
population.
Yeah.
Yes. So in terms of internet connections, it's great internet connection. In terms of technology, they already have now mobile money. So something that they can do, transfer money from one mobile to another, and it doesn't have to be a smartphone to do that. Actually, even the simple phone
Oh, like
can do.
touch button old Nokias and things.
Yeah,
Those. Yeah. Yeah.
USSD, something like that. It can process the transfer of money. When I was in the wet market, actually, I was surprised because in the Philippines, in wet market, you can buy things with fiat currency, right?
Hmm.
But in Uganda, you'll be surprised. I'm buying mango and I'm paying by mobile money.
Wow.
Imagine that.
That's
So
cool.
the technology is great, and the people already adjusted to this kind of how they move the liquidity, how they move the
Hmm.
money in the market. So we are more excited to give these people more opportunities to whatever that they can do out of that learning. So what they just need is funding because some businesses needs money, of course, for transactions or for tracking to deliver their for example, from one farmer to deliver it into the market. They need such money to do that. But in terms of technology, I can say that they are more advanced from the rest of the East African country, and also the workforce again, the young population, and the massive cash flow in the market. You
Yeah.
would see how many people are there. I saw 4 lanes, 2 lanes from left and 2 lanes from the right. And there are so many people that even the Boda Boda, Boda Boda, it's a motorcycle service. So people there used to call them Boda Boda instead of riding in Uber car or whatever. If you want to commute, they ride this motorcycle. And even the Boda Boda must be very careful because there's so many people in the market.
Hmm.
The foot traffic is great,
Hmm.
and the cash flow is massive in the market. So it's
So
a
is it
great opportunity to put business in there actually.
so with like what kind of things are you bringing to them from BSV? I mean, you're saying about like I mean supply chain obviously is in there as well. So is that something you're trying to kind of teach them how to track everything, that's come in and just
Oh, with BSV blockchain. Actually, we
yeah.
have this project with Capital Service. It's sponsored as well by Bitcoin Association or BSV blockchain, together with BSV Academy and Block Dojo. So they have this blockchain innovation program. So it is a 10 weeks program, which I happen to meet as well the team. It's they're brilliant developers and young entrepreneurs. So what they do is they are training this cohort to build applications using the BSB blockchain. So I think this is a very good introduction to the people in Uganda to use the BSB blockchain. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what? You'll be surprised with the amazing pitches from these young people having these good pitches about health, which is I think is very important as a main concern in Africa. And also I think they also have this certification thing and many many more. But the good thing is they want to build it on BSB blockchain. So we are now entering a new era of technology in East Africa and with
That's awesome.
BSB blockchain.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So you're actually
Yeah.
leading the way in technology in Uganda. That's awesome.
Yeah, so they have this more people are still in the web 2 space,
Hmm.
but when BIP entered Uganda, or the Blockchain Innovation Program, they had this more enlightenment about what blockchain can do, specifically with BSV blockchain. There's so many blockchain in space, and so this learning about the BSV blockchain with BSV Academy help, it enlightens the people. What's the
Yeah.
difference of this technology from the rest of the other blockchains?
I mean, I mean, obviously, we know that in Africa there's a big proportion of people that are still unbanked. Is that the same in Uganda as well, or is Uganda are most people in Uganda, do they have banking facilities? Like you say, a lot of it you can do on the mobile phone, but is there
Mhm.
still a proportion of people that are unbanked?
Yeah, I think that's really true. There's so many unbanked population in Uganda, and so that is why the platform that we made for Capital Savvy, which is the Monetix platform, is
Mhm.
trying to solve. It's easiest form to lend money. You don't have to be a bank person to have a, or it doesn't have, you don't have to be a person that has a bank account to do that. You can directly go to the office and file for a loan or something like that. And
Oh
also,
wow.
that's what we do with Monetix platform. So they have this sort of KYC that they do in the land. They will check your stall, your business permit, your business certification. So in 2 to 3 days, no, within 24 to 48 hours, you can have your money with you in your mobile money. So this mobile money thing, we also integrated mobile money in our platform. So these unbanked population can also have an easy access to have financing in their businesses.
So is this
Okay.
like micro loans, or does it get, into large amounts? And is Monetics connecting with the banks, or are they the loaner themselves?
So I think what you want to ask is the kind of business
Model, yeah.
businesses that we have. So we lend to Capital Survey lend to different businesses, small, medium enterprises. They also have this big businesses like the Set and Cushman Marketing Trading, which is exporting coffee, the very good quality of coffee, Arabica and Robusta, and they export it to other countries in Europe and then in other part of the countries outside East Africa. And they also have these businesses like in technology as well, which is the leading technology in East Africa. So it's a diverse businesses. So from micro to SME to exporter to big businesses. So it really depends on the assessment if
And
this
it's all like
business
blending.
can be funded. So it really depends on that, and of course the credibility of the person that is,
Mhm.
you know, trying to borrow money from
Mhm.
them.
Mhm.
So one thing I really appreciate with the partnership of Monetix and Capital Save is that the CEO are both hands-on in seeing how this project can move forward, can scale. So they are really looking into every possibility how to improve the system, the management of people, the management of funding. So I witnessed it with my own eyes when I went to Uganda. So I'm really looking forward. And I'm my brain is on fire actually. What else can I do to help this business? Like I want to be part of the advocacy that they are doing in Uganda.
Does it transfer over to the Philippines as well, or I mean, Monetics, is you specifically focusing on that area at the moment, or are you going to branch out sort of later on down the line? Is that where the future path is going, or are you just
The
concentrating on?
roadmap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the roadmap of this is currently we're focusing on Uganda, but we want to do as well the entire East Africa because of the good response of people to this kind of business, and also because of the because more people now in East Africa are aware of what mobile money can do.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, so we're looking forward to that. But with the I think outside East Africa, I cannot say anything about it yet. But for now, I'm so excited that they are considering to expand in East Africa.
More
Oh,
advanced in the West, almost, doesn't it? Don't you think? This, I mean, we've got the Block Dojo here, but we don't have many companies that are making small loans, incubating, educating, helping to, get the businesses got on the right foot, set off on the right foot here. So to me, this sounds pretty revolutionary.
it does, yeah. It
Mm,
sounds amazing
thank
to
you.
me as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
and when you say about East Africa as well, for people that aren't aware, I mean, your Uganda is kind of on the border of Kenya, Tanzania, Sudan, and then you've got Ethiopia and Somalia as well. So it's an extremely large area
Yeah.
with an extremely large population base. So that's a
Yeah.
really, big ambition, really.
It's a
Yeah.
heck of a market, isn't it? I mean, in terms of numbers and geographically speaking, that's like
Mm,
you could expand and expand and expand there, couldn't you? You
As
know,
I see in the working attitude of the people in Uganda, particularly, they're very hardworking, and they know um, how to basically, because I'm in the technology perspective, it's easier to penetrate a market if the market
mm.
is well aware of the technology,
Mm, mm.
basically.
I'm really interested to know how it affects the indigenous tribes. So, how do they see this technology? What is their perspective on that? Because that fascinates me, because really we want the tribes and their traditions to stay, but we want to bring them into the market as well and just give them that opportunity, but
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to take away from them their traditions and their values. So I'm so intrigued to know how like a tribal chief would
Okay.
see that kind of technology.
Okay, I'm so happy to share that. One of the board member of one of the director of Capital Save is well focused in women empowerment, women and children empowerment, and she is well connected in the country. She has this large community. Her name is Damali Mukuibi. So she is a previous employee as well of Bank of Uganda, and now
Okay.
focusing in the women and children empowerment. So she's collecting this different communities. It's whether you are in the Class A society, B or C, or even the you say tribes. She's collecting. She is encouraging these women and the community to build or train into a sort of livelihood or any
Mhm.
programs that can empower them. And I'm very positive that in one way or another, or in the near future, they will incorporate as well to teach these people how to do the technology.
Okay.
So
And
it
do
is
you do you think also that they will be able to preserve, their traditions, be able to write them all down as well? Because I mean, this gives great access to be able to do that, to preserve the history of the tribes themselves. And is that something that's being worked on?
actually we attended a cultural event. So you would know at the center of Kampala, Kampala is the capital of Uganda.
Yeah.
At the center of Kampala, they have this, I think, day to day cultural presentation from different tribes. So many tribes, and so they still practice. They still show to people, to foreigners, what is the core, culture of Ugandan people from the east, north, west, and south. So
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
I'm trying to say here is they are not setting aside the culture of Uganda,
Yeah.
though they are thriving their status in terms of technology and finance as the most developed country in East Africa today. So they are doing this progress without forgetting where they came from, and they still showing it to people, to foreigner, and it's so colorful. If only I
Mm.
could show
Mm.
to you guys some of the recordings that we did. I think one of these days I'm going to post some of the cultural dances and
oh,
how
really?
you
Yeah.
yeah, it's colorful, it's really really beautiful.
Mm.
It will give you goosebumps, like okay, now I feel I'm in Africa because we
Yeah,
stayed in the Sunda, right? So when I saw that they are and they planning to do it like I think they're doing it every day in that particular place, but that is in the heart of Kampala. So you would know that they are really embedded with the culture.
that's really good.
They want to preserve it and they want
Yeah.
to show that we are Ugandan
Mm.
and we do these things.
Yeah, these
So
are our roots. This is where we're from. This is our tradition. This is what matters as well. I mean, that to me is a really big thing. And if nobody, for people that don't know, Kampala is really close to Lake Victoria, and Lake Victoria is a huge lake in Uganda as well, isn't it? I mean, do you know exactly how big it is?
unfortunately not.
It's
But
it's
we
massive.
we crossed the Lake Victoria and
Oh, did you?
we reached the equator. The equator. We had some photo. Can I show the photo here?
Yeah, if you've got, yeah,
We still
definitely. I
have
mean,
time, right?
yeah,
We still
yeah,
have
yeah.
time.
And the
So
clip.
yeah, we crossed the Lake Victoria, and I can say it's rich in um if you've seen the fish there, and it's so alive. You know, you can see birds in the city as well. The ecosystem is still alive, still pure,
Hmm.
as you
Hmm.
know. So
Hmm.
you would see big birds flying in the city. You would see big fishes in the lakes. You would see the you can feel the fresh air. So yeah, I will share with you guys some of the photos that we took from the trip.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
And
know as well. There's a in Africa. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure exactly where it's based, but there's the shoebill stork, and this is a bird that stands about 5 foot in height, and it
oh, I
eats
know what you mean.
crocodiles. It's amazing. This bird is just phenomenal. Yeah, the shoebill stork. Have a look. Bring it up on Google. It's phenomenal. It's so tall, 5 foot tall, and eats crocodiles. It's
It's
amazing.
crazy.
So let's go over to the Philippines. What are
Yes.
you doing in the Philippines at the moment, and what can you tell us that's happening over there in BSV blockchain, etc.? What's happening for you over there?
Okay, I'm so excited to speak about that because Philippines now is really aggressive in the adaptation of blockchain. So as you would know, Philippines is a technology hub, one of the technology hub in Southeast Asia, and when you say Philippines, one of the things that comes to my mind is social media.
Hmm.
So massive population in social media, also gaming industry. So we have so many teams that is competing for esports, right, abroad in US and China and different parts of the world. So gaming industry is huge here as well. Also, some of the NFTs, worlds, Web3, and cryptocurrency, Filipinos are well aware of this. And
Hmm.
so now it is the chance that blockchain is also penetrating the country. So it is I think it won't it would be very easy for the adaptation of blockchain technology
Hmm. Hmm.
because Filipino are well aware of these technologies. Just that it's a little bit confusing what blockchain technology to use and what is the cutting edge technology
Hmm.
in terms of blockchain. So people know that blockchain is secured, it is decentralized, it is in cryptographic form, sort of things, right? But as I'm always saying to people when they are asking me, why are you in BSB blockchain? And I keep on telling them it's because BSB blockchain is the only blockchain that kills the blockchain trilemma. So
Mhm.
as we know,
Yeah.
right, it's a
Good work,
buzzword
isn't it?
in
That's a
the
great way of describing it. Yeah. But go on, tell us the
Here's the
trilemma.
dilemma.
yeah. So
Give
we
me a
have
tip.
this buzzwords in social media that oh it's difficult to to solve the blockchain trilemma, because security can affect the decentralization. It can affect the security, or what is scalability, right? But BSV blockchain, thanks to Xiaowei Liu, we have this conversation, one-on-one conversation with Xiaowei Liu, who explained to me all his work about the zero knowledge proof.
Yeah.
And after the series of studies and comparison of the zero knowledge proof that other blockchain companies are using, it's been proved that only BSV blockchain can use multiple zero knowledge proof for economic purposes, other than other blockchain that can only usually use one. So imagine that BSV blockchain can only do that. So as people asking me why BSV blockchain, I return the question like, why are you fond of the blockchain that you are using? Like, I can answer the reason why I want to stay with
Yeah.
BSV blockchain, right? And I can definitely answer it that it kills the blockchain trilemma. We are the only blockchain that can use multiple zero knowledge proof, right? And we're focusing to build things that can help humanity. Way different, or way far from the current Web3 world is seeing, like the NFT world, cryptocurrency. So we are building the
I was going to say,
great
which
things.
seems at the minute to be a series of scams, doesn't it? It's like, how can we scam people out of their money?
Yeah, a lot of them
So
seem to be that.
yeah.
I mean, I know I've mentioned this before, probably, but I will mention it again. So I worked on a cruise ship, and what I found was there was a lot of Indian and definitely Philippines that work on cruise ships, and they're always sending money home. And I think BSV would be the perfect solution for the cruising industry to be able to send money home. I mean, I used to get paid in cash. I mean, it's a long time ago now, probably different, but I used to get paid in cash, and then I would request to send a certain amount home to my bank account, and that would take about 5 or 6 days to get there, and it would take a massive chunk out of my money. But obviously, just the sheer, my friend Harold, who I've known for 17 years, is a production manager on Princess Cruises, and he's been everywhere in the world. But if you could utilize BSV, it would solve that cross-border problem in every single place that they go, and supply chain and everything. So do you, like, the Philippines is a big hub, especially in Manila, for the cruising industry. So I wondered, is there any way in? Because we're talking about games quite a lot, and iGaming comes up quite a lot. But I want to see it in this industry. I really want to see it in the cruise industry, because you've not only got, food supply chain and like people working, you've got art supply chains on there. So NFTs would fit perfectly as well, with the art galleries and everything. You've also got the entertainment side of things. You've got the casinos on there as well, DJs, music NFTs. Literally everything they do could be transferred onto blockchain. So how like with yourselves, do you think that your business model could be utilized to try and convince the cruising industries that this is the way forward for them as well? Big question, sorry.
Actually, not only in the cruising industry, we can use the blockchain to almost all industries here in the Philippines. As I knew that we have now the country director of Enchain, right? We have Nicholas King, which is I think they are having different meetups with I think I saw on his Twitter that he met now the governor of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, and also meeting the governor, I think, in Bataan, having
Okay.
this one vision of to integrate blockchain in the Philippines. So what I'm trying to say here is, as with the name BSV blockchain, Bitcoin Association, and Chain. So these are the companies that are very aggressive in connecting directly with the government, with the big
Okay.
enterprises, with the commercial businesses. So they are focusing now to, I think, to develop or to integrate as well CBDC,
Hmm.
as I've heard in one of the talk at the Bataan event. So that was just recently in October. So I think because of these aggressive steps, people would be not only people, but more companies will be interested as well. Why BSB blockchain is having this aggressive move in the
Okay.
Philippines.
So people in the right places will be talking to the people in the right
Yeah.
places, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, the top of that kind of mark pyramid there, really, I suppose, in order to
Yeah,
actually reach these people in the first place. Yeah, yeah.
they know, they really know who to talk to in this market, because these people in the Philippines are well aware of the technology, and also um, want to have I think security for people, right?
Mm,
In
mm,
terms of transferring of money from
mm.
one to another, and
Yeah.
also more people as well are using digital money. So I think if we can integrate the BSB blockchain in all of this transfer of money, we can definitely have micro payment for for subscription, for maybe for nano services, or um, even for simple transfer. Could be a fraction of a cent
Mhm.
charges. Unlike right now that we have, if for example I have to send money through X company, they will deduct 5% or 10% of my entire, money
That's a
that
lot.
I want to send to that person. And from
Mhm,
his end as well, there will be some charges as well. So imagine how huge is that. But with
mm.
BSB blockchain, we can use, or we can integrate this micro payments. So imagine how much we can save
Yeah,
with
Absolutely.
real time, right? Real time transfer. So I'm
yeah.
really excited for that real time transfer, um, cheap transfer charges. So yeah, I'm
Secure.
hoping I'm hoping that Philippines can have that the soonest.
So I was going to say, with the Philippines as well, we said this earlier, there are like 7,000 little tiny little islands. What do they call it? Arpeggio? No, it's music.
Archipelagos.
Yeah,
Archipelagos.
arpeggos, that's it. So also, I mean, this would really help for the people that live on, the little islands and stuff, and when you're traveling around and everything as well. So it would keep more of a connection between the islands themselves in
Mm.
that respect. Um,
Oh, I
what
just want to share something about that
okay.
7,000 that you have
Yeah, no,
mentioned.
go on,
It's
please,
okay.
please.
Yeah. So yeah, we have 7,000 plus islands in the Philippines, and we are connected by a ISP of the major telecommunication or internet service provider. We have the main three, which is Dito, Smart, and Globe. But you know what? Recently this year, the DITC have just signed an agreement with Starlink. So this is to bridge to bridge the gap of those remote places in the Philippines that have access in
They're
the
not
internet.
covered. Right. Cool.
Exactly. So I'm really excited for that, because if all these remote places would have internet access as well as we do
Mm,
here, or as we have here in the city, then the massive implementation of the one thing that we wish this community or this country to have with VSV Action would be easier by that
oh,
time.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
great. Yeah, no, that's great. I mean,
blockchain ready, basically.
yeah, I mean, that's also because I mean, you do have a pretty bad monsoon season as well. So I mean, just
Uh-huh.
being able to have that connection
Mm-hmm.
is phenomenal. That's awesome. Well done, Elon, for coming up with Starlink. Then.
Shout out to him. Thanks.
So go on then. So tell us about blockchain Philippine Blockchain Week, which is coming up the 28th of November to the 4th of December.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for that. We are about to have prominent people in the Philippines in terms of technology, and also some other, I think, also from ISP for communication industries, and other speakers from different phases of Web3.
Hmm.
So the thing here is there will be a massive presentation from different blockchains, right? And I'm so excited. This is one thing that I'm really excited about when I'm attending such a blockchain conference or blockchain summit, because I would have the chance to hear what they have, right? And at some point, because you're in BSV blockchain and you are sort of things, how we do things here in the BSV blockchain. There's some comparison that is coming to your mind, and like there's so many questions as how would you do this thing
Mm,
in your blockchain. And
mm,
for me, as I how I handle that is after the talk of that person, I immediately approach that person at the backstage, or to where he is sitting, and ask my personal question about that. It's not to boast about what you know or what you want to compare. It's just that you want to understand how they do it on their blockchain, and sometimes you will find out some answers that disaligned what we have in BSV blockchain. Sometimes they don't know the other underlying technologies inside the blockchain and how we do things on
I
blockchain.
think
So
that's so
you will
true.
know that
Yeah.
it's not stable. The foundation is not stable because at some point there are things that we are looking for in a certain blockchain to make it more credible, to use
mhm.
it for a scalable project. So yeah, and for some other blockchain as well, you can see, oh, it is it is well organized, or they can answer my question. It means they know what they are doing, and they know what their product is, right? So yeah, it's very exciting. It would be a very exciting time. I'm so excited to meet different people as well in the Philippines, that are doing the blockchain thing.
I had a quick
Excellent.
look at the website and there were so many presenters there.
Mm.
I mean, it looks absolutely jam packed. So you could spend all day walking from stage to stage by the look of it, listening to people. So it seems like a really big conference.
Yeah, and I think it would be at the resorts, Newport World Resorts. That is an elite place here in the Philippines. So we're looking forward to have big names
Hmm.
in the country to attend this.
And something I'm interested in is the film industry. So I noticed that there is a lady who works in the film industry. She's a director and filmmaker. How are they looking at it to sort of incorporate into their own businesses as well? Because I myself think, oh, this is amazing. Like, there's so many things I could run an entire film company on again. So is it being received warmly received by the directors and producers and people that are looking into the technology?
I really can't say, or I really can't comment about that on how they want to use the technology in the filming industry. But as I see
Yeah.
it in my perspective, I think they want to use this in real time announcement, or real time purchasing of tickets, or who comes first or not, or maybe also, I think it will all boil down to the fintech, to how payment is being processed. But you
Streaming
know what,
service.
Filipino streaming as well, right? So we also have this pay per view, something like that. So maybe they can use it for that, right? Or as for example, we use Netflix for subscription with a flat price, and we cannot consume actually most of the movies,
Yeah.
right? So maybe if they can use the technology to have micro payment for every nano services, that would be
Mm.
great. This is just one movie that I want to watch, so I just want to pay like this. I don't know, but maybe they can use that.
And it's
But
There
totally
you go.
great for royalty payments as well, isn't it? Split
Yeah.
payments. I
Yeah,
mean,
so for example, if we'll go with a short film and say maybe there's 35 crew on the short film, you can then literally all of those payments that you would do, say for a pay per view, you could split that off at
mm,
source to go directly to each single member of the crew for the percentage of work or whatever it is that they've actually done. So these micro payments are split off to the individuals, and they get their payment straight away. There's a lady there. Please go and talk to her. I think that'd be awesome. Get some insight and knowledge of what they're actually looking for and what they actually think it can do for them. I think that'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to know
Yeah.
what the answers are to that.
Is there
I'll try
anyone
to.
from BSV talking at the conference?
I think I'm not sure if I can share it, but I think I've heard Garrett Roberts from the N-Chain to discuss the CBDC.
Oh, wonderful.
Let me just check it first.
Right, well, that's probably the most important speaker we could send.
Do you know what I think is phenomenal about this as well? There are loads of ladies speaking. There's a lot of women, and I think that's amazing. So it just goes to show that, you know, women are steaming ahead in this industry quite prominently, and I think that's brilliant. I really do. So congratulations to all the powerful, wonderful women out there that are ahead of their time.
And they really are ahead of their time. I mean, the awareness is so low of all this at the moment. You know,
The good thing here in the Philippines is that if there's new thing, they want us all to be in that space.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So I think not only in the Philippines, but most of the countries that, you know, want to lead the way in terms of technology, if there's a new thing, they're open-minded and want to hear everything. So it would, I don't know, I see it as it would be a great show, you know, to present my example. I have a product, and we have international speakers coming as well. So it will be the big chance to pitch their product, and, you know, sort of maybe they can have some collaboration with the other companies as well abroad. I think that would be really great opportunity. And women, you know, here in the Philippines, women is also, you know, there's no discrimination or there's no sexism in terms of technology and learning. So you would know so many women in technology here in the Philippines.
I'm not sure we can say that here just yet.
Just let me know if you would see anyone in the speakers that you want me to approach.
Yeah, there's two that I think. There's a Baby Ruth Villarama, who is a director and a filmmaker.
Can you send the link of that particular, because I think there's so many.
She's on the speakers page, and then there's another lady, founder, Women of Substance NFT, and she just she's wearing a uniform, and she looks like she's a three-stripe officer.
What's the name again? I can connect you with them.
It's such a long list. I mean,
massive list.
Yeah. I mean, we are, I'm very stringent. We are women of BSV, so we talk about BSV. Yeah, but those two ladies really stand out to me, to be honest with you.
Baby Ruth.
But there's another lady as well, Dane Lee as well. I think she's a Web3 content creator as well. It'd be really interesting to see what she's got to say. And this lady sounds interesting.
Timmy Sky, VR Spaces, I'd be quite interested to hear what they're doing.
Right, because it would be a great opportunity to meet the blockchain people in the industry, especially in the Philippines. And I think I saw some of the people that I met in the Ethereum space are there as well, coming. So it would be our first time to meet as well. You know, it's not about the battle, you know, it's just that it's a fun. We always have this fun talk, like what's new with BSV and what's new with Ethereum, what's new with this thing. And I'm happy to say that every day, since we are having this tons of conversation with different people in space, and now I have my women of BSV. You know, I used to discuss things with more technicalities with the men in space. I think the women are very busy, and I think it's a long way as well for us to have this call, right? We had some back and forth of and scheduling. So yeah. So basically, I will have my own filming as well. Would you like me to? How can I help you, ladies, in the Philippines? Would you like me to capture something for you? It's fine.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Just send it to the BSV so we can empower more ladies to do this technology.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know, I mean, whatever it is that you're doing, it's sort of like showing yourself there and asking a few questions, maybe even just a reel, like a little highlight reel that we could show and then link
Yeah, that
to
would be cool.
you.
The
That would be
comments and-
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, whatever you, because
Give us a shout out.
Yeah, give us a shout out. Tell
yeah,
people
be a
to
women of
watch this.
BSV.
And
Okay.
let's have sort of like a copy of the highlight reel that we can just
Can
put
I
on and
say
then
that
just link to you. Yeah, that'd be great.
Can I say as well that I'm part of the women of BSV community? Yeah, something
You are.
like that. Can I
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, if I can say that, it would be easier for me to penetrate or to
Oh
approach
no,
them.
definitely.
So yeah, I'm thinking to I'll try to catch these people. What do you specifically want to ask with these people? Do you have?
I'm interested if they do know about, the Solidity one click that Xiaowei invented, where it's just one click and that turns Solidity contracts into BSV contracts. I'm interested to know if people are aware of this, and if they're not aware of it, what do they think
the best
about
to say.
Yeah.
There's just two things when I approach people in the space. Like, I ask what they do, right? And then at some point while they were sharing things, you would know if there's a connection of some sort of a BSB thing. And if there's no BSB thing, I would ask BSB question, right? So you would know the response, if that is positive or a negative thing. So really depends on the aura of the person. If he's interested or not interested, I can move on to another.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And
Right.
your intuition powers working as well, which is good. No, I mean, I think anytime you talk to people about transaction fees, you're onto a kind of a winner in a way, just because the other chains can't compete on that basis, and I just don't think a lot of these other people in other chains actually understand that there is an alternative, a viable alternative that still has smart contracts, with tiny transaction fees. So it's like the best of Ethereum, but without the high fees, and without the proof of stake as well, which I think is also really unattractive because it makes it into a security. If it wasn't already, which it was, but you know what I mean, even more so. So there's, basically, I think a lot of these chains are going to be regulated out of existence before long. So, people need to be made aware of the fact that that's coming and that there is, a Noah's Ark that they can move to. You see what I mean?
I'm not really fan of the proof of stake. I'm so sorry. I don't know if yeah, right. Because when my friends calling me, oh, it's because of the environment and
no.
What else you can put in there to make it more enticing then? What other things that you can think of aside from energy consumption, for aside from carbon emission? Of course, you would say something about environment, which is true as well. But the oligarch system is really not good for blockchain. Like, only those powerful can rule.
Exactly.
Right. And if people are saying, oh, so you're doing proof of work and so you're killing the earth. And I say, do you understand how the calculation works for the proof of work of BTC and the proof of work of BSV? And if you cannot answer me that, then we're not talking here. Right? Because BTC carbon emission is greater than the proof of work carbon emission, the carbon emission done by the proof of work of BSV. So I think there is a sort of a study made or article made by Brian Dougherty from the Smart Ledger.
Really good
for the ESG.
Right. So people cannot just approach us and say, oh no, you're killing Earth because you're using proof of work. It don't stop there. Like, there's so many things that that we might consider if for you to say that. So don't come to me like you would say, oh, we're doing proof of stake and we are helping Earth to be green. What about the carbon emission of vehicles around the globe? Billion of cars. So we need to eliminate them, right?
Well,
it's not
Craig's right? calculation, isn't he, that once it's up working at full tilt, as it were, that it will be much more efficient than the current system. energy
I mean,
use wise. So we just have to keep demonstrating that.
the other thing is you have to think of, I know this is probably not, great for the industries, but for the industries that it can actually replace, they are like tenfold the carbon emissions of what BSV could be, even more so.
Yeah.
I mean, you just take, for example, I will pick on MasterCard, the amount of emissions that are actually coming out from just running that service in the first place, and all the other services that go with it that can and could be replaced by BSV. It's a no-brainer. They're right up on this scale of carbon emissions, and we're we're right down a minuscule amount, just like the transaction fees. So that's how I see it. If the carbon emissions are like the transaction fees, they are minuscule compared to what is happening now with the current systems that are in place. So when you look at how much they are producing and you look at this, it is a no-brainer completely. So
Yeah, they just need a very enticing word to describe their marketing plan. Yeah. So that's why they're
It's so
using
difficult
environment, the
because it's so
planet.
complex. Yeah, trying to sum it all up in a snappy sentence is just not happening, is it? Because there's too much here.
Hmm.
But
But if you scale scalability, security, of course, BSV proof of work still is the leading one above them.
And I think also the other thing that I'd be really interested in clarifying with people if they do talk about CBDCs is the fact that Bitcoin is transaction based, not account based. And that makes all the difference in the world to personal sovereignty. So that's something that doesn't get talked about enough, I think. The need to not have an account that's attached to your identity that can then be switched off remotely. But if you have a transaction-based digital currency, then basically you can have many wallets, and nobody can
Yeah.
necessarily censor your transactions, all of them. They can censor a transaction perhaps, but not all of them. So I think that's the key message when people are talking about CBDCs. I'd love it if we could kind of push, but it's a difficult message to push because it's quite a complex idea.
I think they have done so many case studies in different parts of the world about the implementation of the CBDC. I'm talking about the studies made by Enchain Group, right? So CBDC, I think I'm not really sure of what specific countries are that are doing CBDC already, but I think doing CBDC with PSB blockchain as a foundation would be the best option for now because of the real time. I think for the people to understand this, they must enter the technicalities of the BSB blockchain foundation, so they would know that they don't need to build it from scratch. They can integrate
Yeah.
BSB blockchain right
yeah,
away, right?
yeah.
And I think Enchain have this CBDC playbook. You can share as well it to them because this is a wide argument, right? Because I think one of the advices that I got from Garrett Roberts during his talk is that the CBDC don't want to what do you call this, substitute the central banking of specific country. They just want to bridge the gap,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
from those user of fiat currency and digital currency.
Augment it, not
Well,
replace it.
I
Yeah.
went to an event yesterday, which was at the Block Dojo, and there was a gentleman there from a company called Intrasettle, and he specifically built basically some software for banks, specifically for the CBDCs, and I think he said something like banks would save 80% on just fees by switching to CBDCs. So, and that's with like, cross-border payments, etc., just that side of things. So when you take that into consideration, it's like, again, it's like, wow, that
The
is
efficiencies
that
are
is
blowing.
yeah, it's huge. 80% is huge. He was an Indian gentleman, but yeah, it's called Intrasettle, and it's for the cross-border kind of infrastructure payments for CBDCs and banks. Really amazing piece of software as well. He really knows his stuff. He's yeah, really impressed was. Yeah. So
Just really quickly going back to the Africa for a moment. So, is there a block
Yeah.
dojo being set up there in Uganda? Is it like an outpost of the block dojo, or is because I know that they're expanding out, aren't they? And they're going to have sites all over the place. Is it one of them where you are with Monetix?
We're talking about the blockchain innovation program, right?
yeah, the incubator program, the Block Dojo
Yeah.
incubator. Yeah.
So they want to they want to help these developers, builders, and entrepreneurs to basically to build system using the BSV blockchain, and also to help them to how to handle business with that specific um, application or project, right? I think it's similarities that Black Dojo is doing as well, right? They are helping these developers to grow in terms of technical perspective and also in the business perspective. So hitting two birds in one stone, I think, is a great way to build a good entrepreneur, because
Absolutely.
not all developers can sustain their project because they don't know how to handle it in a business perspective.
Yeah.
So they need as well this business advisory so they can move forward and thrive well in the business. And also
Mhm.
there are entrepreneurs that don't know the how to develop their own project when
Mm.
it comes to technology. So if we have this technology perspective, business perspective in one, so I think it will be a very successful project.
Oh no, I think it's wonderful because in the UK they get technical help as well, don't they? With
Yeah.
Vionex,
Yeah.
helping them to actually build.
I mean, there's over 100 plus mentors as well with the Block Dojo.
Mm.
I mean, there's a lot really, and a lot of the business. I mean, they're amazing. The ideas that are coming out of there are amazing. Then, a lot of people do want to do NFTs, but I think there's maybe, even though BSV is small, it's already kind of that saturated market. Everybody wants to go down the NFT route kind of thing. But when you like again, this guy with the settlements, I mean, apparently it's 6.01%, which is the current global average for remittance fees for $200. So, like you said, 6% is quite a lot. So, if the UN want to sort of reduce that by 2030 to at least 3%, but we can get even lower than that with BSV. So when you consider the caliber of the actual businesses that are there, I mean, there was another guy, he was phenomenal, and it was like an education platform. And specifically, he used, he was talking about when he was a child, and you've got, I think it was a big amount of students in this country, the UK, who have private tutoring, even though they're at
Yeah,
school,
yeah.
because they fall behind. They want to, they need to keep up and everything. And this platform was phenomenal. It really was. And the amount of children it would help, and they've got exam help and everything, and can do it for 10, because it's on BSV, he can do it for $10 at £10 a month. So that means it's accessible to literally everyone in the country who needs just that little bit of extra educational help for their children. And that is groundbreaking, absolutely groundbreaking. So yeah, there's some amazing things that can be done with it. Really
It's
is,
essentially opening up markets, isn't it?
that were never there before.
And
Yeah,
connecting them,
yeah,
where what they were charging would be too little in another country, but now it's bringing it all, connecting it all up, so that everyone's more on a level playing
yeah,
field.
yeah. And some of the names as well, I just think are really inspiring. It's like there's a lady, she got like a 3D virtual clothing store, so you could try your clothes on the 3D model before you actually try them, you buy them yourself. And it's physical to digital, so she called it Phygital. Phygital, which are like, well, that's really cool, and
Now
it's
that's
just
Web
little things.
three right there.
Yeah,
I would love to try that. Like you would
Yeah.
virtually feed it first.
yeah.
Before you buy it. Like that's really cool.
That is
So
really
be interesting to see if there's anything like that at the Philippine Blockchain Summit as well. What kind of ideas they're coming up with. Because it just seems that there's been this array of creativity from people because of this space as well, and there's so many unique ideas that are coming out of it. Would you kind of think, oh, everything's been done, we're just repeating the same old thing, but actually over here these are brand new ideas. These are really innovative ideas, so it's a great section to watch and observe and be a
I'll look
part
for
of.
that kind of ideas in the event.
Mm.
And we will surely have them on
Report back
screen.
for it, definitely. I'm really
Right.
interested to see how it differs and how, what the similarities are as well. And go and chat up the people and try and raise some awareness for us, because that's the real problem. It's awareness, isn't it?
The good thing that you are doing here in the Women of BSV is that you're not just empowering the women in the technology. You are also allowing them to expand their network and to make them more confident in what they do. That's very important. The support system.
Thank you for saying that, because that is the idea. There's been like an old boys network for too long. We need our own kind of network of people who are connected naturally and on a friendship basis as much as anything else. But
I mean, we don't exclude, we don't want to exclude people in any way whatsoever, but it is more of a, if you are a woman, come over here because we've got this information and it's a bit more safer than this overly dominated kind of area.
I'm just so thankful with Ethel. We met, like, I think I've just invited her to have a little chat because I saw that she's so active in sharing about BSV thing. And also I have my BSV community on LinkedIn. And so she's so active and she's so passionate, but I cannot see on her profile that she is directly working with VA. Same as like me before, I'm just working with as a business development in Monetix, but I I don't know. I just fell in love with the technology. And so I keep on approaching people to learn more. And so I see myself to her. And so I invited her to, kind of have a sort of chat and how did we get into this space. And then I realized that she's in Elas, which is also using BSV, right? Brandon Lee is also within the org association. And so she says, we should connect you to Didi and Ruth. Like, I was like, oh my god, I think I saw her on Twitter, but I really don't know. But I saw you guys like high profile for me in Women of BSV, and I was like, okay, is there any way for us to do that? And then,
I'm really glad you did. The first time I saw you was when you were interviewing Konstantinos Santos, maybe only a few weeks ago.
So, the AI guy interaction.
Yeah, that brought me to you to my attention. So yeah, we definitely, because we're so disparate across the globe, but we, that doesn't mean that we should be remote from each other, because technology brings us together. So yeah, I think it's the time zones that really are the thing. Like whenever we want to have a chat with Ethel, we have to like organize it to the nth degree, because it's 10 o'clock at night for her, or sometimes she's joined chats at 5 in the morning and stuff.
Yeah, she's a powerhouse as well. She's doing so much in Australia, like you say. I mean, she's battling on through there and getting into universities and things and trying to educate and organising events and everything like that as well. And like you say, Brendan Lee, I mean, he wrote a lot of the course work for the academy, the BA Academy, which is all the Bitcoin coursework. And I know that he's in the process of writing a book with somebody at the moment, but I won't say too much about that. But I'm quite looking forward to that when it comes out, to be honest with you. So, you know, like gratitude and thanks to the guys over there as well, because
Yeah,
they're groundbreaking. They really are. They're amazing people, and they're real motor through. I mean,
they really
I've
are.
known Brendan to be up at 4:30 in the morning to
Yeah.
join a call. You know,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
unbelievable.
amazing guy as well. Like I met
Yeah.
him at the BSV meetup in the Bataan. He's so I must say he's so organized, and he really wants what he want to do in that event.
Yeah.
Like he
Mm.
he really, really run from here to meet the people. I see the passion. I see
Oh,
the
I know.
passion.
He's amazing. And then he does all of that reading for Craig Wright's philosophy class as well, which God only knows how he fits that in. Because that's a lot, isn't it? Did he? You know?
Yeah, there is a lot. There is a lot to go through, especially Plutarch at the moment. I think it took 4 months for Brendan to read all of Plutarch. I cheated and listened to everything on the videos and speeded them up. I was doing Craig's trick because Craig says he always listens to everything like a double or triple speed. So it's like, right, I'm going to try this, and it's awesome. It's really good because you can get through video content a lot quicker, but still retain some of that information. So yeah, there is a lot. I'm enjoying it, but obviously, with the philosophy course, if people are watching who are doing it's only when Craig is available that we can do the class, because he's so busy himself, traveling all around the world and doing key events as key speaker and everything as well. So, and I think as well, I just want to say, like, I don't think people realize how hard Craig Wright works.
No.
He is
He's
phenomenal. He's
insanely busy.
constantly working all the time. I've never known anybody so productive in my life. He's absolutely
Or anywhere
amazing.
close. Yeah.
Mm, mm,
I would like to share something about that. Like as I've said, when I was starting to understand blockchain, I've been to different groups and communities as well, and I've been to this other blockchain community, and they were saying that he is a fraud and something like that. And I was like, how can you say that? And then they
mm.
said, because of the podcasters saying that, and I was like, okay, you know what? He won so many cases already to prove that he is who
Yeah.
he is.
And he
So
doesn't,
I leave
he's
it
not,
with the judges, not with podcasters. I
no,
can pay
no,
podcaster if
yeah.
I want. This is an information, right?
It's yeah, it does get me as well, because it's like, do your own research.
Yeah,
Don't rely on.
Exactly.
It's like
hard.
with the
It's not hard.
TV or the news, you can't believe everything you see on the telly. So
Yeah.
do your own research as well. But when you do delve in and you do look at the research, and plus also, Craig's not. He's not asking for money off people.
No.
Like, he doesn't want anything other than to tell you how his technology actually works, and this is my technology, and
Mm.
I own the patents for it, and actually, or patents, whatever way, the language,
Yeah.
and it's like, you are actually infringing on my patent rights,
Mm.
I'm just informing you that this is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's a great educator. I think he's a wonderful educator, and he's a brilliant mentor for people as well. So,
And
you
he
know,
attracts brilliant people too. I mean, look at Kristen Agar Hansen. I've said his name wrong, but anyway, look at him for instance. He's just joined as the head of the Enchain Group.
yeah, eventually,
Like,
yeah.
that's a brilliant guy, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So Craig reaches out and pulls the most brilliant minds out, and some of them is like an 18. That's not by accident. I don't know. There's so
Yeah.
much proof. It's silly now.
We cannot blame these school kids today. Like they want shortcuts. They don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They don't do the research. So, unfortunately, there's no shortcut in this technology. They
yeah,
they should have received it, confirm it, review it. So you can be confidently speaking out there what you want to say and what you want to deliver
yeah,
to people. Because if we're not confident about it, people will, put you in a carousel and then play with you. So it's really nice to receive the information, verify, review, and speak it out. Like share it with everyone if you
mm,
are if you know that that is authentic, right?
or as I like to say, perceive, think, act. Much the same thing, I think. Yeah. Listen, pay
I love
attention
that.
first. Yeah.
Can you read quite your tweet that your famous little tweet?
Oh God, don't ask me that.
I don't know.
Oh, talk about putting me on the spot. Seriously, I think I'm gonna read that. Oh no, I haven't even got
It's
tips anymore. So good luck with that. Yeah. No, never mind. You can overcome your distaste for Greg Wright at $100 BSV, $1,000 BSV, or $10,000 BSV. It's up to you. And the idea behind it really is that like the longer you hold out and don't do your own research, the more you're going to hurt yourself in the end, really, because you're going to have to buy in at a higher price. But whatever, like people like to point out that we're down at probably $40 at the minute, so sucks to be you and all that. But it won't last forever. But
and it's not even about
in a day, is it? So.
Yeah, and it's not even about like Crescenda said. It's like it's what the technology can actually do, and when you actually realize what the technology can actually do, it's mind blowing.
And you don't worry about the time scale, no, because you know where it's going. Yeah.
So I would.
We are not a speculator.
No,
we determine our future.
Yeah.
Right.
Completely. So thank you so much for joining us today, Chris. It's been really, like, I say this a lot, really educational, but I loved our little chat about Uganda and the Philippines as well, but like specifically about Uganda, because it's great to see, to hear about what's happening over there. As well, because it's difficult to get contacts over there. So the fact that you physically went over and you've had that experience, you lived that experience, and you've talked to the people as well, is phenomenal. So, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. Really appreciate that.
And you're definitely a woman of BSV now. There's no two ways about it.
Power, yeah.
It's wonderful. We should stay in touch, as hard as that will be with the time zones. We should definitely stay in touch.
Well, we have a Slack channel for Women of BSV. So if anybody's interested in joining that Slack channel, please, hit us up on Twitter at Women of BSV, or I think Ruth is on, LinkedIn. I'm not. So, or just hit us up and we'll send us an email with your email saying you want to be a part of the Slack channel, and we'll invite you in. So, thank you so much for joining us, Chris. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much.